When the paramedics burst through the front door, the house still smelled of fear. Anna stood frozen beside her father's limp body, her hands trembling violently, her breaths coming in broken gasps. Rain hammered the windows. The lamp remained dead, its shadow stretching across the room like something ominous and patient. "Man, step back. We've got him," a paramedic ordered. They worked fast, too fast for Anna to process. Blood pressure readings, chest compressions, rapid questions she couldn't answer. How long was he unconscious? Any medical conditions? Has he fallen before? Any confusion? Memory issues? That last one felt like a knife. Anna's lips parted, but nothing came out. She could only point to his desperate reminders of a life slipping from his grasp. The emergency room was a blur of cold light and frantic footsteps. The moments they wheeled Robert inside, machines beeped in warning tones that made Anna's skin crawl. Nurses moved around him like a storm, swift, focused, murmuring medical terms she could barely follow. Pulse unstable, disoriented response, possible neurological decline. Let's get him to imaging. They rushed him through double doors, leaving Anna alone in a plastic chair that felt too small for her grief. She pressed her hands over her face. Her chest shook. The reality she had been running from for months was now screaming in her face. Her father wasn't just forgetting things. He was disappearing. A neurologist approached Dr. Singh, tall, calm but tense enough that Anna noticed. "I'm Dr. Singh. I need to ask you some questions about your father." Anna nodded, though her throat felt tight. "How long has he been showing cognitive changes?" "Months," she whispered. Maybe a year." I didn't want to believe it. He nodded knowingly. "Nobody ever wants to believe it." "Has he had moments of fear? Getting lost? Forgetting people? Increasing confusion?" "Yes," Anna said, voice cracking. "All of it." Dr. Singh exhaled, through his nose a slow, heavy breath that told Anna everything she wasn't ready to hear. "Anna, these symptoms don't usually appear overnight. They build slowly, quietly, often for years." She swallowed hard. "What are you saying?" He met her eyes, gentle but direct. "We're concerned this may be more than a collapse or a simple memory issue. The brain scan will tell us more." But he hesitated, choosing his words carefully. "There's a possibility. Your father's condition has been progressing for a long time, possibly much longer than anyone realized." Anna's stomach twisted. "How long?" "Years," he whispered. 5, 10, sometimes more. The world tilted. They allowed her to see him. Robert lay on the hospital bed, wires on his chest, tubes in his arm, the rhythmic beeping of the monitors sounding like a countdown. His skin looked pale and fragile under the harsh fluorescent lights. Anna took his hand cold, trembling slightly, and squeezed. "Dad, please wake up." He didn't respond, but when his eyelids fluttered, she leaned closer. A soft groan escaped him. He turned his head slowly, eyes unfocused, confused. "Dad, it's me, Anna." He blinked, searching her face. Then his expression twisted, not in recognition, but in fear. "Where am I?" he rasped. Who are you? Please, don't hurt me." Her breath shattered. "It's me, your daughter." But he recoiled, pressing his head back into the pillow as if her voice itself was dangerous. No, I don't have a daughter," he whispered. I'm not even married." Anna stepped back as if she had been slapped. This wasn't just forgetting. This was his mind breaking into pieces. Moments later, Dr. Singh returned with a folder of results and a look that made Anna's blood run cold. One nurse whispered behind him, "The scans are they're not good." Dr. Singh closed the curtain gently behind him. "Anna," he said, voice low, steady, but heavy with meaning, "we found something." Her heart stopped. "What is it?" He placed the brain imaging on the table. The scans showed areas that looked like shadows, patches of shrinking tissue, parts of the brain that had begun to wither. "These patterns," he said, tracing the image with a pen, "are consistent with a degenerative process." "Degenerative?" Anna repeated, barely breathing. "Yes," he said, "something that destroys brain cells." slowly, silently, and by the time the symptoms become obvious, a significant amount of damage has already occurred. A tremor rolled through her. How much damage? She whispered. He hesitated. A lot. Her knees weakened. So, what does this mean? She asked. Dr. Singh looked at her, compassion filling his eyes, but compassion wasn't enough to soften the truth. Is it Alzheimer's? She whispered. Dr. Singh swallowed. It fits. The memory loss, the confusion, the personality changes, the wandering, the brain shrinkage. But Alzheimer's is only one possibility. Anna stared at the floor, heart racing. What else could it be? Dr. Singh set the folder down silently. There are different forms of dementia, but the pattern we're seeing, he looked up, suggests one of the most devastating kinds. Anna's breath hitched. Which one? He leaned closer. The kind that doesn't just erase memories. It changes behavior, identity, and the ability to live independently. A moment of silence fell between them. Then Dr. Singh added, voice barely above a whisper, and we still don't know how far it has gone. Suddenly, from behind the curtain, Robert screamed, a violent, terrified scream that echoed through the room, and his blood turned to ice. Dr. Singh dropped the folder and rushed toward the bed. The curtain snapped open, and Anna saw her father sitting upright, eyes wide with terror, heart monitor blaring, hands gripping the bed rails. I remember, he cried. I remember what happened before I fell. Anna froze, because the look in Robert's eyes was something none of them expected. Fear, recognition, and something else? Something horrifying. The room froze around Robert's outburst. His chest heaved. His eyes, once empty and drifting, were suddenly wide, sharp, haunted. Anna felt her pulse slam against her ribs. Dad, she whispered. Robert gripped the bed rails with trembling hands. Every muscle in his arms strained as if he was fighting something invisible. I remember. Before I fell, he gasped. I saw something. Dr. Singh stepped closer, voice calm but urgent. Robert, what did you see? Robert's lower lip quivered. His eyes darted across the room corners' shadows. The ceiling, like he expected something terrible to emerge. It was in the hallway. He whispered, standing there, watching me. Anna swallowed hard. Who? He looked directly at her. Me. Anna's breath stopped. I saw myself, Robert stammered, but older, empty, confused. I thought it was a dream, but it wasn't. It was real. It was like I was looking at the man I was turning into. A chilling silence filled the room. Dr. Singh placed a steady hand on the rail. Robert, what you saw may have been a hallucination caused by the disease. When dementia progresses. No, Robert snapped, shaking his head violently. It wasn't a hallucination. He lifted a trembling finger to his temple. It was a memory. Anna's knees weakened. A memory of what? Robert inhaled sharply, tears spilling down the sides of his face. A memory of forgetting, he whispered. A memory of losing myself. It wasn't new. I've lived it before. The confusion, the wandering, the fear. He clutched his head. It's been happening for years. Anna covered her mouth, unable to breathe. Robert slumped back until the pillow drained. The monitor slowed but stayed unsteady. I didn't tell you, he whispered, voice cracking. I didn't want you to worry. I didn't want to admit what was happening. Every day, pieces of me fell away. Names, places, faces, memories, even you, Anna. Anna shook her head fiercely through tears. Dad, you should have told me. We could have gotten help sooner. He reached for her hand, his touch weak but warm. I was scared, he confessed. Not of dying, but of disappearing while still alive. A sob escaped her. Dr. Singh cleared his throat gently, giving them space, but staying close. Anna, he said softly, we have the full report. She wiped her face and nodded. Dr. Singh took a breath. The patterns we saw on his scan, the behavior changes, the rapid decline. He lifted the folder. Confirmed frontotemporal dementia. Yes, Dr. Singh said gently. It affects judgment, memory, reasoning, emotional regulation. Everything that shapes who we are. She blinked back tears. What's the treatment? He hesitated, the hesitation that always meant there was none. We can manage symptoms, slow some progression, support him, keep him safe. But Robert squeezed Anna's hand before the doctor could finish. But it doesn't get better, he whispered. I know. They sat together for a long moment, Anna clutching the hand of the man she loved, the man she feared losing piece by piece. Finally, Robert turned his head to her. His eyes, though tired, were full of clarity she hadn't seen in months. Anna, listen to me. She leaned closer. I might forget your name. I might forget this moment. I might even forget that you're my daughter. Her heart splintered. But don't ever think I won't love you. Tears streamed down her face. I'll remember that, she whispered. Weeks later, the house was different. The yellow notes were replaced by white boards. The locks were changed for safety. Medication timers beeped quietly in the background. Robert moved slower, spoke less, wandered sometimes, but Anna was always there, steady, patient, learning the language of his fading world. One evening, he sat in his chair by the window, watching the rain. Anna approached him gently. Dad, do you want tea? He turned his head, brows furrowed. For a terrifying moment longer than usual, he didn't recognize her. Then, suddenly, his expression softened. Anna, he whispered. She exhaled shakily. You remember? He nodded slowly, placing a hand over his heart. Not always, he said, but when I do, it feels like coming home. She knelt beside him, resting her head on his shoulder. Outside, the rain fell softly, no longer a storm, just a reminder of what they had survived. Robert closed his eyes, peaceful. Thank you for finding me, he whispered. Anna squeezed his hand. I always will. The disease might take pieces of you, but it would never take the love that held the pieces together. Thank you for watching.